Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Whoa, sure do. Whoa.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Lucy.
I don't know why I'm high. I don't know. I'm just making sounds. Sounds are just coming out of my mouth. And this week we have a very special gal's pick, but a gal's pick with inspiration.
Yes.
So I'm
inspired.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what the topic is, but Lucy, I think you should read the email because you're the one who put this in the calendar.
Okay. Yes,
so,
it did. It captured my attention.
It did. So our topic today is kids solving crimes.
Yes.
I found some very wholesome things to discuss today.
That's
what
good.
We need.
That's what we need. Yes. Good. We've done too many things involving kids lately, I feel.
Yeah. Mine was a mental health choice, for sure.
Yeah. I'm sick of hearing about kids for a little bit. Yes, kids solving crimes. And this was inspired by an email that we got from Lynn. So thank you, Lynn. Lynn said, I'm wondering if you have ever covered the topic of kids solving crimes. We are now. Particularly through child forensic interviews.
I didn't go down that pathway, but you
did.
Yeah.
Sure did. Lynn says, that is my area of expertise, and I could nerd out about it all day. But basically, there are many under-recognized forensic interviewers every day creating space for children to share their experiences as a tool to holding offenders accountable and minimizing the impact of the system on kids. And often the statements they make in those settings can solve seriously heinous crimes.
Yeah.
Child advocacy centers across the country have taken a big hit in terms of federal funding as of late. So it's an important time to call attention to this work for many reasons.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So you can understand why this topic was much more appealing to me 10 months ago than it is right now. But I still think it's fascinating. It's definitely worth talking about. And I found a very absurd case about it that I really want to share with you. So,
well, I can't wait to get into it.
I can't either. But first, Amanda, take us away with your wine crime pairing for this week's episode.
Y'all, buckle up. I teamed up again with Ashwin from UnPINNED Wine Club, and we had such a fun conversation. So I'm going to cut to that right now. Enjoy another Ashwin's Wine Corner. We have another exciting unpinned wine pairing today that I got a little peek behind the curtain on, and I actually have a bottle of this wine upstairs, which makes me so happy. So I'm welcoming back to the show Ashwin Bhatia of UnPINNED Wine Club. Come on down. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. So excited to be here. Let's talk some wine.
Let's do it. Okay, so what I know what you paired with kids solving crimes, but tell us what you were telling me off camera because I was like dying. Also, I do need to tell you that I am a little bit hungover today because I brought like 6 bottles of your wines to a dinner party last night where the owners of the restaurant that I work are like obviously huge wine people and were like very instrumental in getting me into wine and helping me learn so much more about wine than I did previously. So I was like, this is perfect. They're making this gorgeous meal. I'm going to bring all these really fun wines. And they were like kids in a candy store. Like,
no way.
I was really impressed and excited about like the varietals that they did recognize. But to bring Fernando and Kalinka wines that they hadn't heard of felt like such a flex to me. And then we were just, there were like 10 of us there and we were just opening bottles and trying all these different things. And it was just so fun and spectacular. So I want to encourage everybody to have that moment with their favorite wine people.
That makes me so happy because that is the best way to enjoy these interesting wines is get a group of people together and open 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles so you can like taste all the differences between them. It's by far the best way. And not to mention, I mean, like, I think we've talked about this in one of the past recordings, like wine is this amazing thing that for 8,000 years has brought us all together, right? There's almost nothing left on this planet that we share with these ancestors from so long ago, but just sharing an evening with someone in a bottle of wine is like this thing that connects us to like millennia of history. And so, I don't know, that just makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun and like special, and special in how it wasn't special. It was like, just friends going over to their house and enjoying a meal together. Like the most normal, commonplace thing on like the social order hierarchy.
Yep.
And made that much more special because I was able to share these really cool wines with other people that I knew would be excited to taste them. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm firing on like slightly less a cylinder today. One of the ones that we had that I really loved that I don't know if it would technically, like, I think it's a wine, but it was the one that was like half sparkling grape and
the
then
elderflower.
It was like apple.
Oh,
yeah, it was like a cider. Yeah, with the mouth on it.
Yeah, it was.
Dude.
Yes, Le Funambule. How cool. It was wild, wasn't it?
That shit is so good.
So it's one of those, like, you know, you can get philosophical about what is wine, right? Like, does it have to be 100% grapes? Does it have to be 100% vitis vinifera?
Right.
Which is what traditionally people have thought. Now there's hybrids, which are not always vinifera, but these like crossbreeds. And that wine is so interesting because it's basically these, Le Funambule means tightrope walkers.
Okay.
And it's 4 different winemakers and they're collaborating. And that's why they call it tightrope walking, because you have 4 different people that have to like decide together.
Yeah.
And they're like as far along the natural wine spectrum as you can go, which is amazing because it means you believe in ecological diversity in the vineyards, right? So if you go to traditionally farmed vineyards, you'll see only grapevines and that's it. But that's not actually how you keep vines healthy. And so what do you need to do? You got to add stuff, fertilizers and pesticides and whatnot into the soils. Whereas on the more natural winemaking side of things, you just allow, you know, bugs and grubs and shrubs, and they have apple trees growing in their vineyards.
Yeah.
And so what they decided to do was, we're going to make a terroir expressive wine that includes everything that grows in this plot. So we're going to take the grapes and we're going to take the apples and we're going to ferment it and then we're going to bottle it. And that's what that wine was.
It was so good and unlike anything that I had ever tasted before. I'm obsessed.
So fun.
So, okay, but that's not the pairing for today. I got excited, and while it was top of my mind, I had to tell you. So, okay,
Thanks for sharing.
Yes, of course. Tell us what you picked for kids solving crimes, because I'm obsessed with this.
Yes. So there were a few different directions we could take this, but what jumped out to me immediately was like, okay, kids solving crimes. I'm like, I know a really childlike winemaker. And I mean that as a compliment in the best way possible. So someone that has kept that silly, whimsical spirit of being a child, like a magical child, has kept that spirit alive while also channeling, you know, the necessary intellectual kind of like adulthood stuff in order to make a wine. And his name is Bruno Trapan. And so the wine I chose is this Trapan Istrian Malvazija.
Oh, it's so cute. The label is so cute.
Yeah, for those listening and not watching, there's this lovely green dog on it. The variety is Istrian Malvazija. So Malvazija is a family of grapes that some people might be familiar with, grown in Italy and Austria, in this case, Croatia. And you have different kind of like subtypes of it. So here we have Istrian Malvazija. Istria is the part of Croatia that's like not attached to the sea.
Okay.
So when you think of the sea shape, so when you think of Croatia, you mostly think of this part here. There's actually like a tiny, I guess my hands are big, but there's like this tiny little peninsula bordering Italy before you get to like the rest of the Croatian coast that people are familiar with. That peninsula is called Istria.
Cool.
And this variety of Malvazija is native to that little peninsula. And Bruno Trapan, so childlike winemaker. I mean, some of the things I was sharing with you off camera were...
It sounds like I want to schedule a visit to.
You should.
It sounds
Everyone
like paradise. Yeah.
Everyone should. This Istria is incredible. It's this part of Croatia that nobody really visits, so people don't really know. They have fantastic wine, really good food. It's like pretty affordable. But Bruno, when we went to visit him, so this is like 5 or 6 years ago, so it's been a while. But when we went, like as soon as we walk in, he's like partially shirtless. He's got two like 8-year-old girls like running around, just having a time of their lives. And then he's got this like his kids, and then he's got, or they wouldn't have been 8, they'd have been like 4 or 5 at the time. And then there was a Pomeranian, like a miniature Pomeranian, and this like miniature Madagascar mini goat, or some kind of like miniature goat from somewhere in Africa. That's like it was like this big. The goat's like, it's like this big, and it's never going to get any bigger.
Oh my God!
The goat thought it was a dog, and the dog thought it was a goat, and so this Pomeranian is like running around trying to like headbutt people, and then the goat is like trying to bark, but like obviously it's a goat, so it can't bark, so it's making this like gurgly, like half ba, half like gurgle sound.
Oh, that's super funny.
And that was like the scene as we like walk in
that welcomes
to start
you
tasting
in.
wines.
It's like, okay, this is chaos, and I love it. This is hilarious.
Yes, and just for context, right? Like, I mean, I'm a silly dude, but I'm also a wine professional, and I never know who, like, the personality of the people I'm going to go meet. Usually, like, just stereotypically, when you're thinking about, okay, wine professional going for a visit to do a wine tasting, like, it's like, usually you're like all buttoned up, you're like a jacket, everyone's like really prissy and delicate, and that's like the stereotype of what you'd expect.
Right.
Now, in the natural winemaking world, it's more chill than that, but it's still, there's a little bit of decorum, and just the total lack of decorum was amazing. I was like immediately in love. I was like, I want to drink everything you've got here. I can't wait. He's got this like beautiful childlike whimsy. When we went, I don't know if it's still there, I hope it is, there was like a full grand piano kind of painted in rainbow colors in the cellar. And what I remember was he was telling me is like, the wine is alive in the cellar. So just like anything that's living, like it likes music. And so it was just like, the yeast are alive.
Piano for like the yeast and the wine. That
was like the philosophy behind it. It was just like, and this is a period in my life where I was meeting a lot of these natural winemakers who are they have so much reverence for wine and yeast as living things, right? Because we see it as just like, oh, it's just this bottled, beverage. Right. But they were kind of like, that was like the first exposure for me into a school of thinking, which is this liquid is alive. The kind of, the yeast, the microbes that are inside that are making this wine are alive. And so if you create a happy environment and the energy is positive, like you're going to get better wine.
Wow.
Obviously the opposite would be, no one in the natural wine making world does the ... of like, well, if you're an asshole, your wine's going to suck. Like nobody says that, but I think that's kind of that's the inferable ... So anyway, he's, really childlike in his energy, but very, very intellectual and very talented as a winemaker, which is
and even in the way that he like cares for the wines, it's like he's treating them with the same love and respect as like his children that are also growing up in this beautiful place and like learning should they choose to this incredible craft. I just think that's. Something is like really choking me up about him playing music for basically like the soothing the process of fermentation, which is kind of a chaotic process. Yeah. And like you said, it is a living being. I feel like we get that ingrained in us so much about drinks like kombucha and even beer in the beer world, because I've worked in a lot of breweries as well. And that like reverence for it while it's, fermenting in the tanks and like the addition of the, the yeast and all of that process, it like very much is shaped or like taught, at least in my experience, in such a way that's like, this is a living thing and we have to take care of it. But I do feel like there is sometimes some separation in how just like the average person talks about wine from that like living process of fermentation, yielding this beautiful thing that you then get to enjoy with other people.
100%.
And that's really cool to have that be like so deeply, and it's such like a moving and kind of beautiful way to be incorporated.
Right?
That's really cool.
Music and natural wine. I mean, what more can you ask for? And I think you said it really well. I don't know why we don't tend to appreciate how alive the wine is, even once it goes into the bottle.
Right.
Because and I had someone, I think it was one of our close friends, is a different winemaker, had told me, it's like, wine needs to go through a number of moon cycles before it really feels stable. And I'd always so there's this whole school of thought in winemaking, which is biodynamic winemaking, basically following the moon calendar. So allowing the phases of the moon to dictate what you do in the vineyards and also in the cellar.
Cool.
And when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, that seems a little wacky. And then I kind of paused, and you think about, okay, well, the moon can move the oceans, which is the largest body of water that exists on our planet. How arrogant would I have to be to say oh, the moon can't affect the liquid inside the bottle or inside the barrel? It's like, it's moving the
or even inside
ocean.
the grape itself as it's
exactly
growing. Yeah,
exactly. So the moon influences all water, right?
Yeah.
And that starts to get a little bit
is duh, but we don't think about it in that context. Yeah, that's really cool.
And some people think it's a little hokey. They're like, I mean, there's a part of me that if I'm having a weird mood, I'll sometimes ask myself, what phase of the damn
moon am I? Yeah, I know. I'm like, what's in fucking retrograde? Why am I ready to murder everyone?
Yeah. Yep. So
that is so cool. I'd never heard of the moon calendar for wine or the moon cycles for wine.
Yeah.
But like you said, that does totally make sense. And on the surface, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool and witchy, but it's like, no, that is part of.
There's science behind it. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a growing movement.
That makes sense.
Yep. So it's called biodynamic winemaking. And I mean, I think it's a risky thing to do because a part of biodynamic winemaking means you don't intervene in the vineyards that much. So if you're if you have really bad weather, if you have a ton of rain and it's not really drying out and you might have mold, it's like, you can't just go in and spray Roundup and just gotta get rid of it all, So it's very much a philosophical commitment, but I think the product that comes out is much better for you.
Well, and we also neglect to honor the cycles of what many people in not necessarily many people in agriculture, but many people on the surface would go, oh, okay, that was a bad year. That was a bad yield. That was this, that was that. But how that quote unquote bad year, or maybe just different year, then affects the next yield, what the land experiences in the time that doesn't yield the product that you're hoping for, but then can prepare for what could come next year or in the years to come. There's something to be said for accepting
for the longevity of it's not just this year.
Yeah, just for the health of this living place that you're cultivating to, with the hopes of creating this beautiful final product. But that if you're committed to the natural process of things, the final product, we don't have a lot of control over what nature's going to decide to do. I mean, we do in terms of how we're destroying the planet and pollution and climate change, but there are other factors.
On the day-to-day weather.
We can't change that, but we can change how we approach and respond to it and how we hold, how we think of those yields that might be considered on the surface bad because they weren't creating the product that you wanted in that moment. But what that can contribute to the future creation 100%. Of that wine is pretty cool. And it would take a lot of trust and a lot of commitment to just be okay, I'm going to take this not so great harvest year and hope that, do my best with it and hope that whatever this process was from nature was an investment in this land and what could come next.
Yep.
But you got to have a lot of patience and trust.
Patience, trust, respect. It's also, I mean, it's like a reminder that the more natural something is, probably the better it is going to be for you, right? So if you just walk outside and you see an apple on a tree and you eat that apple, that's going to be way better for you than if you eat some apple flavored candy or something, right? Not to say I love Jolly Ranchers, but there's a difference.
Why not both? But yeah.
Why not both? Yep. In wine, it's easy to forget that that whole spectrum exists, but the bottle looks the same, right? You know the health difference between eating apple flavored soda or something versus eating an apple. But in wine, it's really hard to know because the bottle is the same and there's no ingredients listed on it. And so that's
really all you have to go off of is the vintage, and then you could do your own research on what that year looked like in that region.
Yep.
And, if you have enough of that education and that capacity, then you can make some predictions about what that wine might taste like. But I always think that, like, I get, hung up and confused by trying to, like, keep track of vintage. But when I am sitting down to enjoy a wine, I do like to look up the vintage year for that region, because I think it is always really interesting to know some things about, like, what was going on with the soil that year, what was going on with the rainfall, like how cold was it, how hot was it, like what direction were the winds blowing, because, like, all of this stuff can change how that wine tastes, and that always blows my mind and is, like, fun and exciting for me.
I think, what's super fun is this is called, like, a vertical tasting. So same wine, different vintages.
Yes.
Like, for anyone that's listening that's like, this bullshit, because there are a lot of people out there that are like, oh, you can't taste the difference from year to year.
Yes,
and
you can.
I understand the skepticism. And then what I would suggest for them is, like, find a wine and see if you can find, like, 3 or 4 different years of that same wine. And if you open all 4 and you taste, like, you will taste differences.
For sure.
And sometimes you'll taste, like, huge differences.
We just featured a Syrah out of Walla Walla AVA in, like, Washington, Oregon. And it was from a specific year. I think it was from 2022. And they were talking about how that year was, like, exceptionally cold and windy. And so their Syrah that they pulled was from, like, a specific spot that was protected by, like, a cliffside. And that was where those grapes did the best in the same region. And then they got this, like, very specific taste flavor profile from that Syrah because
of that.
Yeah, that chunk of the vineyard happened to be better protected by the natural elements. And so that's, my cat's here now. I just think that stuff is, like, so fascinating and so cool. And maybe you won't develop the palate to be able to pick up a glass of wine at random and go, oh, this is a 2020 whatever from blah, blah, blah. And it's this grape. No one's asking you to do that. Like, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
You have to be kind of like supernatural almost to be able to do some of that. And I think that some people get caught up in, like, people who flex, the rare people who can do stuff like that. That's not all that, like, a sommelier or someone who appreciates wine is. You don't have to have that level of palate to, like you said, do that. What did you call it? Was it lateral tasting?
Vertical
tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try the same wine from different vintages. And if you, like, have a good bottle shop near you, you can ask about stuff like that. Be like, is there any standouts where it's, like, the same wine, but they taste really different in these different vintages? And they'll be able to guide you, and you really can taste it when you do it side by side. It's 100%. Nuts.
One of the best places for vertical tastings is at a winery. So when you go visit wineries, because they'll have their stock for decades. And that's, like, one of the best opportunities. And it's the best way to get to know the estate you're visiting. Sometimes it costs a little more. It's worth it to, like, if you're a fan of a certain wine or you're traveling to a region you don't go too often, it's, like, it's really worth it, because that's how you get to know with some depth what this place is like.
Right.
Because otherwise you're like, oh, I know what this place is like on this one year.
Right.
Once you taste, like, 3 or 4 or 5 years, you're like, oh, I get what this place is like over the course of a lifetime. Like, you taste the variation of, like, this year was, like, super hot, and the summer was, like, 4 months long, and it was, like, hot from May till, like, September, and you can taste what the wine is like then. And then the next year was, like, it was like super rainy, and it was weird, and we only had, like, a month of sunshine, and you could taste what the wine is like then. And it becomes this expression of, like, oh, this may be overly romantic, but I think of wine as liquid history in a bottle. And when you can, like, taste from the same place over several years is when you
what a gift
start to get the sense of, like, oh, I'm tasting history.
So
which
cool.
is really cool.
So if folks want to get their hands on this specific childlike bottle, what would you instruct them to do?
So we have a wine giveaway,
yes!
And we're shipping this wine in that giveaway.
Love it.
So you can, and it's free to enter. It's co-hosted between UnPINNED and the gals.
Yes.
The place to go is unpinnedwineclub.com/WC to sign up. And I would love to ship you a bottle of this wine and a couple other gems along with it.
As we record this, we did just announce over the last weekend the first winner of their free shipment. So, like, can confirm this is legit.
It's real. We are actually sending wine.
It's very real. They're sending wine. And as you said before, once you are entered, like, you'll stay on the wheel. They'll keep spinning the wheel. You'll stay on the wheel.
Yep. You can re-enter if you want, but it's not going to double your entry.
Because it's free to enter, so it's not like you're paying for, multiple entries or whatever. But there's nothing to lose by getting on the wheel. Go get on the wheel. So go to unpinnedwineclub.com/WC. WC like for wine and crime. See how clever? See what we did there? And get on the wheel. And if you don't want to just spin the wheel and hope that you're going to get a free shipment, you can also sign up for the wine club. You can explore. Is it safe to say you can explore the bottle shop? Is this available now?
We have not yet announced it, but you can leave it in there and it'll be all right.
It's up to you.
You can leave it in. I don't mind at all. I love anything that's coming new for us. I think it will come first to wine and crime, if I'm being honest. So
okay, it would be a great idea to at least, at the very minimum, get yourself acclimated with unpinnedwineclub.com, because while they do have this incredible subscription service for getting access to these amazing wines that you literally cannot get other places, but they have more coming down the pipeline and more options for ways that you could acquire these wines. So you're going to want to be keeping an eye on the development of this amazing business, because I know we are. Girl, I have been drinking good since you came into my life. So thank you so much. But definitely get your hands on this. I can't wait. I have mine because my shipment just arrived like a few days ago. So I have this specific wine in the fridge right now. And I have friends coming over Friday night to play video games.
When you think about it. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
I want to open more of these bottles, but this one I was like, oh, they're going to love this. So I'm super excited.
Oh, so fun. It's perfect for a games night, honestly. It's vibrant, it's bright, it's refreshing. Yeah, it's going to be great.
And what's more childlike than playing Mario Party?
Oh, hell yeah. That's what you're playing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're going to get together and play Mario Party because I'm almost 40 and this is what I do with my free
awesome.
time.
I used to play the OG. I don't know what number Mario Party they're on now, but I used to play Mario Party, no numbers, not 2 or 8 or 10 or whatever.
Wasn't the first one was it the GameCube?
I think it was N64.
Oh yeah, there is a Mario Party for 64, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure
and
it was
Smash
on
Brothers,
N64.
which is also super fun.
So, that's all-time top 5 best games ever.
Yes, agreed.
I so regret. I sold my N64 when I got my GameCube. I sold my N64 like a little idiot, and now I'm
I still have a Nintendo 64. But if you have a Nintendo Switch, they have for free all of the 64 games, the SNES games, Sega Genesis. You can get all of them through your Nintendo online. If you just hook it up to the internet, you can. I played Ocarina of Time on my Switch a couple of years ago. Have. On 64, they also have GoldenEye.
No.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Okay. So this is becoming a totally different conversation. But
this is
about childlike. If you want to get access to your N64 games, get a Switch.
Cool. Good to know.
But before anyone goes and gets a Nintendo Switch, first go to unpinnedwineclub.com/WC. Enter to win a free shipment of wine and just peruse what they've got. Peruse the wine club. Keep an eye out for the upcoming bottle shop. Get yourself familiar with Unpinned because they're not going anywhere and they're the best in the business. So,
thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you again for joining me on this long-winded wine segment. We always get so chatty, but I don't care. I love it.
I'm sorry I sidetracked us on the video games then 64. I don't get to geek out on that stuff that much anymore.
And we also have an exciting collaboration coming up. We're going to be together, me, Lucy, Ashwin, and I believe some other members of the Unpinned team in Washington, D.C. at the Atlas Performing Arts Center to do a whole wine and crime live show that kicks off for VIPs with an exclusive wine tasting hosted by Ashwin, who's going to be bringing a bunch of the wines that they have at their disposal through UnPINNED Wine Club. So we're going to get together. We're going to have this like beautiful wine tasting. And then we're going to have the most fun doing a big ass show in DC. So definitely head to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com, to get your tickets, because those VIP tickets for the wine tasting are going to go fast. So check that out. But we're super excited to literally come together for like finally in person for the first time.
Wild,
Ashwin,
right?
Yeah, Ashwin's going to be in the States. So we were like, let's lock this in. So we're
Let's
super excited.
do it. Oh,
we're doing that in May. So yeah, get your tickets and come see us and come hang out with us.
Yeah.
All right.
And come drink some wine.
Yeah, for sure. Most importantly. So thank you for stopping by again, Ashwin, and we will see you in the next Unpinned Wine segment.
Amazing. Thank you again for having me. See you next time.
All right, let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors and then come back and get into Lucy's absurd case for kids solving crimes.
Let's do it.
That statistic about how on average we eat like a credit card's worth of microplastics a week.
My favorite.
Not my favorite.
It's
Totally
horrible.
freaks me out. I'm consistently concerned about microplastics, not just in like the things I interact with and consume every day, but also in my cleaning products. And if you're not concerned about that, you probably should be. As we reset our habits for the year, most people don't realize they're still bringing them into their homes every day, and that is why Blue Land is about to be your new best friend.
So we've made the switch to Blue Land across all the cleaning products in our homes, especially at the start of the year when we're rethinking routines and trying to build more sustainable habits at home. Certified by Cradle to Cradle, Blue Land products meet the highest standard of clean. They're effective yet gentle on people and the planet. From cleaning sprays to toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blue Land's 100% microplastic-free, EPA Safer Choice certified formulas are safe to use around your family, your kids, your cats, your houseplants, yourself. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets my house clean. I have done deep cleans on both of my bathrooms over the last couple weeks, and Blue Land was absolutely the first stop.
You love those tablets.
What I first reached for. I love their toilet bowl tablets. They're so like lemony fresh. Blue Land truly has your back when it comes to like helping you make sustainable choices. They believe that hardworking clean products can be the norm, not the exception. So you can just do better and feel better about what you're doing for your family and the planet at the same time. Their products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands, and the formulas are free from dyes, parabens, harsh chemicals. I just feel really good about what I'm washing down my counters with. Not to mention, these products are absolutely effective. I feel like I'm getting so much mileage out of these toilet tablets. You have to try them.
And Blue Land has a special offer for listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/gals. You won't want to miss this. Blueland.com/gals for 15% off. That's blueland.com/gals to get 15% off.
It is hard enough to find a therapist, like one that you actually kind of like vibe with, one that's in your area and accessible, but also finding one who actually takes your insurance. That's really where most online therapy platforms fall short. Many of them don't work with insurance at all, which means you're stuck paying the full cost out of pocket. Nobody has time or money for that. Or paying for an expensive monthly subscription. But Rula does things differently. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, making the average copay just $15 a session. So that's real therapy from licensed professionals at a price that actually makes sense and that you can afford. And that is absolutely crucial when it comes to mental health. So think about it. You use your insurance benefits to maintain your physical health. Why wouldn't you do the same for your mental health?
And Rula isn't just affordable. The experience is fully tailored around you. It's like real wraparound support. Other online therapy platforms might match you with the first available provider, which is like, that's great to get you in quickly, but they might not be the right fit. Rula considers your goals, your preferences, your background to provide you a curated list of licensed in-network therapists who are actually aligned with what you really need, because they know that finding the right therapist can make all the difference. There are no wait lists, no frustrating back and forth. Rula makes it so easy to find a mental health provider who is accepting new patients, and appointments are available as soon as tomorrow, which could be life-saving for some folks. Plus, Rula sticks with you throughout your journey, checking in to make sure your care is actually helping you move forward. So go to rula.com/gals to get started today. That's RULA.com/gals for quality therapy that's covered by insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/gals to get started. And after you sign up, they'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. That's RULA.com/gals. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Y'all, Chime is changing the way people bank. This is fee-free and smarter banking built for you. It's not like old school banks that charge you overdraft and monthly fees. Built for you, not the 1%, babe.
Chime isn't like all the other girls. It's not just another banking app. They unlock smarter banking for everyday people with products like MyPay, giving you access to up to $500 of your paycheck anytime and getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. You've done the hours, honey.
Mm-hmm.
And some old banks don't do this. You can forget overdraft fees, minimum balance fees, and monthly fees. Thank you. Chime turns everyday spending into real rewards and progress. Chime is bank fee free plus overdraft coverage that you can count on. It helps you build credit history stress-free. It's so easy. And again, you get paid when you say up to $500. You can earn up to 3% APY on savings, 7 times higher than a traditional bank, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Chime is rated 5 stars by USA Today for customer service. They got real humans available 24/7. This is a new way to build credit history with your own money and get rewarded every single day. When I was younger, if I had Chime, I would absolutely benefit from the credit building aspect of Chime because it makes it so easy. It's like mindless. If you're not taking advantage of this, I don't know what you're doing.
Chime is not just smarter banking. It's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/gals. That is chime.com/gals.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
So I always really loved coffee, but it has gotten to a point in my life where coffee doesn't love me back the way that she once did. And my husband's a huge coffee person, but he makes his coffee really, really strong, which is great. And that works for him, but it like destroys my stomach. I don't know how he does it. So I have fallen in love. I have fallen in love with a new morning routine that is relying heavily on mud water. Their original blend is a coffee alternative made with cacao, chai, turmeric, and functional mushrooms like lion's mane and reishi. You get a warm, focused boost without that wired buzz or the midday crash that usually tags along with a regular cup of coffee.
It's so funny to me when I like come out of the closet as a non-coffee person to coffee people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it really messes me up. And I don't know how it doesn't mess you up too. But then I tell them about mud water and they get it. So if you're still craving that true taste of coffee, you are in luck because they actually just launched a low-calf coffee made with Arabica coffee beans, L-theanine, and the same functional mushrooms you get in their other blends. I love those mushrooms. This is rich, smooth, and only 45 milligrams of caffeine. So you get that flavor you love without the jitters, the crash, the spiraling. So whether you're mixing up the original blend or easing into something gentler than your usual brew, mud water makes it ridiculously easy to start the day feeling good. And now you can grab it at Target and Sprouts nationwide.
Heck yeah.
So if you're ready to make the switch to cleaner energy, head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code GALS. That's right, up to 43% off with code GALS at mudwtr.com. After you purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please show your support and let them know we sent you.
Lucy, I'm going to light my incense match.
All right, do it. Smells so good.
What do you have for us? It won't light for, you know, I don't have a lighter. I'll just light it with a lighter. What do you have for us for kids solving crimes? I didn't do anything off camera. Everybody calm down. I don't know what you're talking about.
We can monetize all of this.
My little candle.
That's adorable.
Okay, take us away.
So when I refer to this as an absurd case, I'm really not trying to minimize what may or may not have happened, but I think the absurdity comes from our perspective here now in 2026, looking back at what was very clearly out of control.
Yeah.
And to the degree. So
it's always easier to see in hindsight.
yeah. So I'm actually going to do my case first and then do a little bit of background and psych afterwards.
Oh, I love.
And weirdly enough, I very briefly covered this case back in episode 37.
Oh my God, that was 100 years ago.
It really was. It was in 2017.
Wow. Okay.
The world was a much different place.
Yeah.
And that's just when I covered it, because for the case itself, we're going all the way back to 1983.
Okay.
A much, much different place, to the affluent seaside town of Manhattan Beach, California, where the McMartin family ran a preschool.
Okay.
This preschool had a great reputation. The founder of the preschool was a woman named Virginia McMartin, and I think it's either her daughter or her daughter-in-law, Peggy McMartin, and Peggy was the administrator, and Peggy's son, Ray Bucky.
This is ringing a bell. The Bucky of it all.
It's a very well-known case in the category that we're talking about today.
I just burned myself.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. I handled it really, really professionally.
Good. You're not even tearing up or anything.
No, it was very mild.
Good.
I can't feel much right now.
Good.
It's nice.
Good. That's nice.
It's nice.
So Peggy was an administrator. Virginia is just the old lady. So you could just remember the old lady. And then Virginia's grandson, Ray Bucky. I believe he worked there as a teacher.
Okay.
And we can all have our opinions on male preschool teachers.
I mean, it shouldn't be a problem.
It
but
shouldn't
alas.
be a problem.
And yeah, none of us are saying that. We know a lot of educators, including male educators, who are wonderful people and not doing this shit. It's just, why is it almost always the men?
There's something specifically about preschool, not necessarily like an elementary school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And again, it's not because men are not capable of not molesting children.
No, I would say that's less of like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's fair for anyone to be feeling cautious about who is caring for their very young, vulnerable children. I think that is fair. And it's also like, I'm sure there's some internalized misogyny at play about even how we see men in like caregiving roles for young children. And there's a lot of collective trauma because of the prevalence of sexual assault and, you know, in the male community.
Statistically, it's almost always a man.
Mm-hmm.
So, which plenty of female abusers
offenders,
out there,
of course,
offenders.
yes.
But yeah. Anyway, so also it was the 80s. So I don't know, man. So it's 1983. Judy Johnson, the mother of one of the students at the school, so her son attended the preschool. He was 2.5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Judy, his mother, called the police to report that her son had been sodomized by staff at his school, specifically by Ray Bucky.
Oh, my God.
And then also by her estranged husband. She thought that
2.5-year-old son had been assaulted?
That's what she's claiming, yes.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So
by this guy, Bucky, and like her ex?
And her ex.
Okay.
Who I presume spent time with
this
his
child,
who I presume is his son.
Okay.
So her story stemmed from her perception that her son was having painful bowel movements.
Okay. So this is just what she believes happened. She wasn't called and told this happened by an official or an educator.
Her story was that she noticed that her son was having painful BMs, and she asked him about it. It is unclear whether the little boy told her that he was being abused or if he denied it and she just went with it anyway.
Wow. Okay.
So she called the cops, told the cops that. Over time, Judy's claims became increasingly bizarre, alleging that the abuse had also involved altars, candles, a decapitated baby, a flight on an airplane, and a figure called the Goat Man.
This is way too on the nose. This is like literally ripped from the Epstein files.
I know.
That's crazy.
So I'm not sure when the initial complaint was made in terms of like months, but in early September of 1983, police arrested Ray Buckley and the next day, sent out a letter to 200 current and former McMartin daycare parents. And I'm going to read you this letter.
Ugh.
It's so irresponsible from the lens that we're looking at this through. Dear parent, this department is conducting a criminal investigation involving child molestation. Ray Bucky, an employee of Virginia McMartin's preschool, was arrested September 7th, 1983 by this department. So that was the day before. Imagine getting this in your mailbox just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks. And also,
I'm not done. There's so much more to this letter.
Okay.
So the following procedure is obviously an unpleasant one, but to protect the rights of your children as well as the rights of the accused, this inquiry is necessary for a complete investigation. Records indicate that your child has been or is currently a student at the preschool. We are asking your assistance in this continuing investigation. Please question your child to see if he or she has been a witness to any crime or if he or she has been a victim. Our investigation indicates that possible criminal acts include oral sex, fondling of genitals, buttocks, or chest area, and sodomy, possibly committed under the pretense of taking a child's temperature. Also, photos may have been taken of children without their clothing. Any information from your child regarding having ever observed Ray Bucky to leave a classroom alone with a child during any nap period, or if they have ever observed Ray Bucky tie up a child is important. Please complete the enclosed information form and return it to the department in the enclosed, the self-addressed stamped envelope as soon as possible. We will contact you if circumstances dictate same. We ask you to please keep this investigation strictly confidential because of the nature of the charges and the highly emotional effect it could have on our community. Please do not discuss this investigation with anyone outside your immediate family. Do not contact or discuss the investigation with Raymond Bucky, any member of the accused defendant's family, or employees connected with the McMartin preschool. And then in all caps, there is no evidence to indicate that the management of Virginia McMartin's preschool had any knowledge of the situation, and no detrimental information concerning the operation of the school has been discovered during this investigation. Also, no other employee in the school is under investigation for any criminal act.
So this was sent out in the mail by the school?
By the police department.
By the police. That was my question. That's wild.
Fucking wild.
Because I understand, like, I have other friends with kids that are preschool age, and like if an incident happens at the school is supposed to email them and like let them know, and sometimes they have limited information, which can be really frustrating for the parents to be like, okay, thank you for letting me know, but like this doesn't tell me what happened. This is different.
Swings so hard the opposite way.
Yeah,
and it's suggesting that you ask your child whether or not oral sex happened. It's fucking wild. And this is the day after they arrested this man, and they list his name. Like, they just put it all out there.
Yeah, it really feels like this guy is guilty, and now we want everyone else's testimony to beef up the case. It doesn't sound like...
But don't gossip about it with the other school moms. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow. So obviously panic ensued.
Yeah.
And the DA's office began referring families to the Children's Institute International, the CII. This is a Los Angeles therapy center where social workers ended up interviewing 400 children ranging in age from 4 to 10.
Wow.
So mind you, this was a therapy center with therapists, not experts trained in forensic interviews. So this is from the LA Times. CII's techniques were controversial. Kids were given anatomical dolls and encouraged to use puppets, such as Pac-Man, to communicate what was otherwise unspeakable. So there were so many presumptions being made about what happened, and we'll get to the nail in the coffin of like, yes, believe women and children, but this case goes so far. It goes so far the wrong way. They were presented with lurid and grotesque scenarios and told that their classmates had already divulged, quote unquote, yucky secrets.
Oh my God, they're going to traumatize these kids that were not even harmed?
When they insisted that they were not victims, the social workers kept pressing. The Institute said 360 of the 400-some students that they had interviewed reported abuse. So they were saying, almost all of these kids have been abused. Children had spoken of being taken to secret rooms and tunnels, of being tied up, photographed naked, and forced to play a game called Naked Movie Star. We'll get back to Naked Movie Star. They spoke of mutilated animals and satanic rites. So crazy, crazy shit. Fortunately, these interviews were taped, and expert witnesses would later testify that the methods used were, quote, improper, coercive, directive, problematic, and adult-directed in a way that forced the children to follow a rigid script.
This shit pisses me the fuck off so much, too, because this can have so much lasting damage to children who are victims trying to come forward and share their stories. And to be so easily manipulated by like the powers that be. In this case, it's these quote unquote therapists that were running this extraction of testimony in such a shady way. I mean, they're doing it like the cops do it in a fucking interrogation room. They can lie and they can like, you know, push their narrative. They can, your friend, your accomplice already told me this in the other room. You may as well spill.
And everyone is going to have a bias. If you are not trained very specifically for these are just therapists who presumably deal with children who have been abused and who have been traumatized. And they're trying to help them navigate through that and like understand it and cope. These kids are not those kids.
Right. So
they're not working toward the same end at all. So the whole thing just got so fucked up so fast. So the tapes, these recorded interviews, showed that the adults spoke far more than the children. Like today, since this, like their number one rule is to be quiet and just listen. And they also demonstrated that despite the highly coercive interviewing techniques used, initially the children were resistant to interviewers' attempts to elicit disclosures. Like they weren't immediately coming up with stories.
No.
Because there wasn't one.
Wow.
This is from Wikipedia. Some of the accusations were described as bizarre, overlapping with accusations that mirrored the emerging satanic ritual abuse panic because this is the 80s. This is the early 80s. It was alleged that in addition to having been sexually abused, the children saw witches fly, they traveled in a hot air balloon, and they were taken through underground tunnels. And oh my God, the fucking tunnels. The investigators repeatedly went to the school and like dug up the floor, dug up the grounds, trying to find tunnels, passageways, rooms. There was nothing. There was nothing. So when shown a series of photographs by the McMartin's lawyer, Danny Davis, so the defense lawyer, one child identified actor Chuck Norris as one of his abusers.
Okay.
Yep, that's him. That's the guy I went into the tunnel with. That's Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, honey. And that's not your fault because you're two.
Well,
and you're just trying to go along with whatever the fuck is going on around you.
I'm just saying, if the child who originally had the painful BMs and his mother went, we'll get back to her.
Well, yeah. Were there any? Did she take him to the hospital? Did pediatricians look him over, see if there were any signs of any kind of abuse, like anything like that?
From what I understand, she did not let anyone interview her son.
Or even examine her son.
No.
Because wouldn't you, as a parent, like, obviously you want to get justice for your kid, but if you truly suspected that, wouldn't one of the first steps be, you talk to the police, or at least you go to the doctor and then see if you need to file a police report, like have your kid checked out, make sure he's physically okay?
Judy was mentally not well.
We'll
get back to Judy.
Oh God. Okay.
But the reason why I probably come off as more exasperated than is apparent is because it'll be evident.
You know
by the
the
time
outcome.
we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking Judy is all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So there were also claims of orgies at car washes and airports. You know, the two places most orgies take place.
Mm-hmm.
And of children being flushed down toilets into secret rooms where they would be abused, then cleaned up and presented back to their parents. So again, some of the child interviewees talked about a game called Naked Movie Star and suggested that they were forcibly photographed nude just because naked movie star. I don't know. That suggests being photographed nude to me. During trial testimony, some children stated that the Naked Movie Star game was actually just a rhyming taunt, like a playground taunt that said, what you say is what you are. You're a naked movie star.
Oh my God. It's just kids being
fuck-ass
kids on the playground.
Teasing other kids.
Oh,
and it's just a rhyme that we were playing Naked Movie Star.
Oh no.
Yeah. On March 22nd, 1984, Virginia McMartin, the old lady, her daughter, Peggy, the administrator, their grandchildren, Ray, Bucky, and Peggy Ann Bucky, and 3 other teachers that were not related, Marianne Jackson, Betty Rader, and Babette Spittler, were charged with 115 counts of child abuse, which was later expanded to 321 counts of child abuse between all 7 of them, involving 48 different children.
Holy shit.
The preliminary hearing took 20 months.
Wow.
So this is when they went over all of the children's testimonies and decided what could be used.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it could not be used.
Mm.
Do you remember that book? I think we talked about it in the Satanic Panic stuff episode. There's a book called Michelle Remembers about like recovered memories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how it was just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So the authors of that book came to visit the parents and the children to like interview them or just talk to them about recovered memories and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was during the time of the pretrial. So the initial prosecutor, Glenn Stevens, later said that he believed that that fully influenced the children's testimony.
Wow.
Because they hadn't yet testified in court when they talked to the recovered memory people.
Oh, shit.
In 1986, and also the parents. So the parents just want to protect their kids. So if the parents are buying into that too.
Mm-hmm. It's like they don't even really realize that they're being manipulated.
It was just it was tainted. It was so badly tainted.
Oof.
In 1986, a new district attorney, Ira Reiner, he came in because all of this was taking so goddamn long. They got a fully new DA.
Mm-hmm.
He came in, reviewed the whole case, calling the evidence incredibly weak. And he ended up dropping all charges against old lady Virginia, her granddaughter Peggy, and then the 3 unrelated teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just Peggy, McMartin, Bucky, and her son Ray, who remain in custody awaiting trial.
Okay.
Peggy's bail had been set at $1 million, and Ray was just denied bail entirely. So Judy Johnson herself made a bunch of weird statements about Ray specifically, including that she thought he could fly.
Okay.
But Judy was not long for this world, nor the litigation that she started. She was diagnosed with and hospitalized for acute paranoid schizophrenia. And in 1986, she was found dead in her home from complications of chronic alcoholism.
Oh, no.
So she died 3 years after the initial complaint was made. And she died before the preliminary hearing had even concluded.
Oh, my God.
So she had very serious mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
She was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
She was making similar claims about her thinking that Ray could fly.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
she was likely experiencing some level of psychosis, and instead of people getting her some help, it escalated into a not even real crime ring.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much about this case. I really could have had 3 times as many notes because there's a lot of really fascinating facets. Like, one of the attorneys later said, like, the supposition that you could gather all of these, and again, this is so badly timed, all of these pedophiles who happen to be in the same family, who happen to work at the same daycare, and only now is it coming out that they are abusing all of their students. Like, it's statistically, even if Ray did abuse any one of these children, the way that they went about interviewing the children, getting testimony, it was so fucked up from the very beginning.
Yeah,
it was really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the odds that none of these people ever did anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And now the kids have gone through years of police interviews and adults saying, "Oh, didn't
this
he
happened
rape
to you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine how that would shape, you want to talk about false memories. Imagine how that would shape
You're creating yeah, exactly.
your childhood. You've now essentially convinced these children whose some of their first memories that they'll be able to recall are like testifying in a major trial.
And being repeatedly asked about being abused in underground tunnels at some point, that's those images are in your head and you think that did happen.
Oh, God.
So the first trial opened, again, this started in 1983. The first trial opened on July 13th, 1987. I was 11 days old, personally.
Wow.
There was an issue with perjury of like a jailhouse witness who said that Ray confessed to all this in prison, but like that guy was super not reliable. The whole thing just took fucking forever. Ray was initially held without bail, like I said, but after a long time, the judge finally cut it down and he was able to be released on bond in February 1989 after spending almost 5 years in jail already.
Wow.
On January 18th, 1990, after 3 years of testimony and 9 weeks of deliberation by the jury, Peggy was acquitted on all counts, and Ray was cleared on 52 of the 65 counts.
Wow.
9 of the 11 jurors at a press conference following the trial stated that they believed the children had been molested, but the evidence did not allow them to state who had committed the abuse beyond a reasonable doubt. So 11 out of the 13 jurors who remained by the end of the trial voted to acquit Ray of the charges, but the refusal of the remaining 2 to vote for a not guilty verdict resulted in a deadlock.
Wow.
So they had another trial.
Oh, God.
That first one was 3 years of just testimony.
Yeah.
And it was a hung jury. So the second trial opened on May 7th, 1990 and resulted in another hung jury.
Oh, my God.
On July 27th, 1990. Thank God that one was only a couple months long. The prosecution then gave up trying to obtain a conviction and the case was closed with all charges against Ray being dismissed.
Wow.
So that guy spent over 5 years in jail and no charges for anyone.
Yeah, I'm
wherever.
I'm curious what the molestation charges / evidence brought forth in trial hung people up so much.
I
It must have been compelling to some degree.
I think it was a lot of the expert testimony
about the children,
by forensic interviewers looking at those tapes that they did from CII and being like, this is so, well, we'll get to it. I'll actually tell you exactly what it was.
Okay.
So the case lasted 7 years and cost $15 million, making it the longest and most expensive criminal case in the history of the United States legal system.
Wow.
And like I said, ultimately resulted in no convictions. A few of the now grown-up McMartin children have spoken publicly, but some have described the pressure to fabricate stories or disbelieve innocent memories in favor of traumatic ones. One said, quote, "Never did anyone do anything to me, and I never saw them doing anything. I said a lot of things that didn't happen. I lied. Anytime I would give them an answer they didn't like, they would ask again and encourage me to give them the answer they were looking for. I felt uncomfortable and a little ashamed that I was being dishonest, but at the same time, being the type of person I was, whatever my parents wanted me to do, I would do."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is from UCLA. Decades later, this is the worst part. It's still questioned back and forth about whether anything did happen at McMartin or not. This is according to UCLA psychology professor R. Edward
Okay,
Geiselman.
all right.
There's a picture of him on the drive looking like a total nerd.
Red word.
Quote, "If you go back in the transcripts, things were said like, Mary's got a good memory. Don't you want to have a good memory? Don't you want to be like Mary and come up with those yucky memories that Mary told us about?"
Whoa. Oh, I don't like that.
There is some evidence that gives a reason to believe some things happened, but that's all for naught because of the way the interviews were conducted.
Right. And again, that's like, this does not help these kids. It does not help the kids who did experience abuse.
I know. So the case was a watershed moment. In the early 90s, reports of child abuse and neglect skyrocketed to such an extent that the U.S. Department of Justice saw such crimes against children as the nation's #1 social problem. So
If only they...
there actually was, I know, right? Those
the call
were the days.
is coming from inside the house.
The DOJ. There actually was a daycare sex abuse hysteria moral panic in the 80s and early 90s, like sort of right on the tail end of the satanic panic. I was shocked at how many cases there were in this dozens.
Wow.
And there are several reasons it surfaced when it did. So one more social example, many women were joining the workforce for the first time in the 80s and the 90s. And anxiety and guilt due to leaving young children with strangers may have contributed. Also, studies show that when adults ask children questions that don't make logical sense, such as, is milk bigger than water? Or is red heavier than yellow? Most children will offer an answer believing that there is an answer to be given. They don't automatically think like, that's a trick question. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Rather than understanding the absurdity of the question. Furthermore, repeated questioning of children causes them to change their answers because they perceive the repeated questioning as a sign that they didn't give a right answer the first time. So they just keep asking. So children are especially susceptible to leading and suggestive questions.
Yeah, just because of where their brain development is at that age. And yeah, their capacity to understand what these questions even mean.
Especially or specifically under the age of 7.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it was a daycare. Most of them are under the age of 7.
Yeah.
So researchers found that in the absence of being prompted, it is uncommon for children to make fictitious reports of sexual abuse because that's just not in their world yet.
Yeah. They don't have a concept of what that is.
Yeah. So if a child comes up with that, then the odds of it, if they come up with it on their own under like a legit questioning, then the odds of it not being the truth is pretty low, are pretty low.
But under coaxing, they're going to do what kids do and mimic.
And Red
be
is
rewarded
heavier
for-
than yellow.
Which, to be fair, it is.
It is. Red is absolutely
Red
heavier
is
than yellow.
1,000,000% heavier than yellow, but like, yes.
Yeah. And
Wow,
milk is bigger
that's-
than water. I don't know why we're even asking that, but whatever. And so Geiselman, the dorky guy, and UCLA psychology colleague Robert Fisher were contracted by the DOJ to develop an interview technique for children. So earlier they had developed interview techniques for adult witnesses, just like standardized, this is what works best from a psychology perspective.
Yep.
So the DOJ was like, hey, can you do the same thing but for kids? Because
for
it's
kids.
obviously not the same process. You're not going to like intimidate a child into telling the truth. So they developed a new cognitive interview for children in consultation with the LA County sheriffs and the LA police departments and investigators in social services and law enforcement throughout Southern California. So they went off of this exact case to develop
these
this
structures.
new interview standards. Yeah.
Wow.
Today, the cognitive review, compared to the previously used question and answer format, is being used effectively by law enforcement and around the world to elicit more accurate information by building rapport, letting the interviewee do most of the talking, like I said before, and using memory prompting techniques. So giving a detailed narrative is difficult for children, especially, like I said, under the age of 7. Also, children feel understandably embarrassed or afraid of talking about sexual abuse and similar incidents. So when the child is finished giving their interview, Geiselman advises that the interview can get more details by answering open-ended questions like, oh, you mentioned your Uncle Jimmy played games with you. What were the games like? And then the odds of that child kind of circling back and giving more information about what you actually want to ask them about. You just have to, you got to cast a much wider net, I think.
Right. And yeah, go from high level concept and just narrow it down piece by piece, letting the kid kind of take the lead with those open-ended prompts.
Yeah. This part was like, I don't know why this part stuck with me. Interviewers can also use memory jogging tools to elicit additional information. One LA County detective got results by changing the child's perspective when the boy became uncomfortable talking about being sexually abused in his bedroom. So the detective knew that the child had a California raisin stuffed toy, like a California raisin toy, so early 90s, late 80s, up on a shelf in his room. So near the end of the interview, he asked, when so-and-so, the abuser, came into your room, what would the raisin have seen?
Oh.
And then the child told him a lot of stuff that led to this particular person, I believe, getting a 562-year sentence.
Wow.
He was just able to pull himself out of his own perspective. Oh, isn't that just
heartbreaking?
Yes.
And also really fascinating.
Fascinating. Investigators also avoid asking the kinds of leading questions that contaminated the McMartin case. Geiselman says, quote, anytime you insert information into a question that the interviewee has not told you, that is a leading question. For example, an interviewer might say, now, when Uncle Jimmy touched you,
right,
but there hadn't been any discussion of touching. The goal of the cognitive interview is to maximize the amount of information gained while preserving the rate of accuracy of the information. We don't want to screw things up on our way to generating more information, as in the McMartin case.
Yeah. Wow.
Slow and easy.
Yep.
Just.
It makes so much sense, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only way that you can... You can't guarantee, but like reasonably expect an honest conversation with a child.
And I'm thinking about like June's almost 2.5. If the mother was thinking that she was getting reliable information out of a 2.5-year-old, and then it just ballooned, it just exploded, and I didn't even get into all the media. It was a media hysteria.
Well, and if she was in crisis herself.
Yeah, but
it's
nobody.
possible she very well believed that like this is what happened to her son. It was freaking out, and nobody really took the time.
I'm not blaming her because I'm not blaming her.
I'm not saying
because
whether
of-
or not.
Yeah.
But
putting
that was
myself-
a system failure too. That nobody was
Yeah.
sat down with her and was like, okay, let's go over everything before we expose your child to something that might not even be an issue.
Or that allowed this to balloon the way that it did
Right.
without the 2.5-year-old, the first
I know.
patient 0 being examined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's also, I'm telling you, this goes so deep. Something about the DA or like there was some like high up editor in chief of big newspapers where all the other, outlets took their news from.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a romantic relationship with someone on the prosecution side.
Mm.
So all the media was like, oh my God, can you believe all of these teachers raped all these kids?
Yeah, the court
Not-
of public opinion.
The jury was already out that these people were guilty. This had happened. It was a sensational,
Mhm.
it was a moral panic issue.
Wow.
But like, there were just so many details in here that was just like, God damn it. This was so
mess.
screwed up from the beginning.
Ugh, those
Anyway.
poor kids.
So that is the McMartin daycare case.
Wow.
And a little bit of backstory on how we got to where we are now with child forensic interviews and how bad it has been in the recent past.
Wow. Well done.
Thanks.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
We're gonna pivot when we come back from the break. So don't worry,
Okay.
y'all. I didn't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I did it for all of us.
Couldn't do it. Personally couldn't do it.
Excited for a change of pace. Let's hear a word and we will be right back. Unless you're a member of Uncorked, then we're just going to skip right on over to Amanda's segment.
Let's go. Nothing hits quite like home cooking, and HelloFresh makes it easy to do more of it this year with recipes that feel good and taste delicious night after night.
After night after night. I love my HelloFresh recipes that I can just keep and like recreate and sort of like customize later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose from more than 100 recipes every week, including cuisines from around the world, which are my favorite because it often introduces me to like new ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've said before, HelloFresh like teaches you how to cook.
Yeah.
God bless.
Literally, if I can do it, anyone can.
Yep. They also have meals that help you beat the winter blues, like your comfort foods, like some nice enchiladas, like casseroles, anything kind of juicy and rolled up and with hot cheese. That's my jam. You can choose from more than 35 high protein recipes each week, including new Mediterranean, Amanda's favorite,
My fave.
and GLP-1 friendly options. And there is now 3 times the amount of seafood for no upcharge. I'm really loving cooking all sorts of like shrimp and really beautiful cuts of fish.
Mm-hmm.
It just really has injected my cooking routine with like new ideas, new flavors, new ingredients. And for that alone is worth it, but also just making the nighttime dinner routine very simple, straightforward, and very fast.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a huge difference, especially when you're trying to feed a toddler and an adult man.
For sure. So go to HelloFresh.com/gals10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free Zwilling knife, which is a $144.99 value on your third box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
Most people think that like consuming enough fiber is just about staying regular, which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
But fiber actually plays a major role in energy, stability, recovery, focus, and just overall performance. Once you start understanding how gut health works, Momentous Fiber Plus stops feeling like just another supplement and starts feeling totally foundational.
Momentous Fiber Plus addresses one of the most overlooked foundations of long-term performance, and that's gut health. Fiber is not just about digestion. It is a key driver of gut health, which directly impacts nutrient absorption, energy stability, recovery, focus, mood, and like Lucy said, overall performance.
When gut health is not dialed in, other supplements and training habits just don't work as well. You could be doing everything else right, but without a strong foundation, results fall short. Fiber is often the missing link. That's why Momentous believes in a relentless commitment to fundamentals and doing them differently than they have ever done. Fiber Plus is built to support the entire gut health process, not just one piece of it. Momentous Fiber Plus is a complete 3-in-1 formula with soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and a prebiotic-resistant starch. This combination is designed to support gut health from start to finish by feeding beneficial gut bacteria, improving digestion, and helping stabilize blood sugar for steady energy without spikes or crashes. Like everything Momentous makes, Fiber Plus is built with a science-first formulation, clean and minimal ingredients, and no artificial additives or artificial flavors. Every product is independently certified by NSF for sport or informed sport, meaning it's tested for contaminants, heavy metals, banned substances, and verified for label accuracy. And if a product doesn't meet their standard, it never hits the shelves, so you don't have to worry about what you're taking, babes.
Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first order with promo code GALS. Head to livemomentous.com and use promo code GALS for up to 35% off your first order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code GALS. These days, we are all about quality over quantity, especially in my closet. My God, my closet.
Mm-hmm.
So from now on, if it's not well-made and versatile, it's just not worth it to me. That's honestly why we love Quince. The fabrics feel elevated, the cuts are thoughtful, and the pricing actually makes sense.
We're obsessed with Quince, and they are the best. They make high-quality wardrobe staples using premium fabrics like 100% European linen, 100% silk, and organic cotton poplin. I mean, come on.
Cute.
They have lightweight cotton cashmere sweaters that are perfect for the changing seasons, and you can't miss seasonal colors and prints for spring. They have the cutest stuff for spring. Versatile, well-made pieces that make getting dressed simple. I especially love those lightweight cashmere sweaters for this transitional time in the Midwest, because the temperature could fluctuate so much throughout a single spring day, and I use spring in heavy quotes in Minnesota. And so having layered pieces, but something like that lightweight cotton cashmere is magic. You can throw a jacket on it. It's going to keep you nice and warm, but then you can
And it looks so profesh.
Yeah,
just
very
put
polished
together.
Yeah, it's the best. Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen. You're not paying for brand markup or fancy retail stores, just quality clothing. Quince uses 100% European linen. Their cotton poplin is crisp and it holds its shape, girl. The gauze is soft without being flimsy. Everything Quince makes is built to hold up season after season. The stitching, the fit, the fabrics. I have washed all of my Quince pieces many, many times. Some I've had for years, and they're still holding up beautifully. These are pieces you can reach for over and over again. Quince clothing is consistently rated 4.5 to 5 stars by thousands of customers. These are real people wearing these pieces every day and actually loving them, and we are some of those real people.
We are those real people. Right now, go to quince.com/wine for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to wear it and love it, and you will. It's now available in Canada, too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com/wine for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine.
All right, so as I said at the top, for my health, gestures at everything. Obviously, this topic has the potential to be very dark. Fortunately, in your case, I'm just choosing to believe that these children were not indeed harmed. There doesn't seem to be evidence that they were, that we know of. So that was,
and we'll never know, but
we'll never know.
Yeah.
But I went in a different direction just for my brain. So I took a funny headlines, gossip at the corpse cart style approach today.
Oh, thank God.
Yep. So I just have 4 quick little articles to share with you of instances of children solving crimes, and they are honestly amazing. Okay. So we're going to start with this first article from CNN that I love. This happened over in jolly old England.
Oh.
From CNN World, the headline reads, and this was in 2016, kids form human arrow to point police chopper towards suspects on the run.
And I have a screenshot from the helicopter video of the human arrow on the drive for you. It's incredible.
Oh my God. Core memory.
Right? Okay.
Forming a human arrow.
Okay. The circumstances around this are so charming.
Down.
Yeah. They're like in a farm plot, playing out a field.
They're playing Jonestown.
They're basically, for one group of kids in a small village outside London, an afternoon meant to be spent hunting Easter eggs suddenly turned into a thrilling hunt for burglars.
Easter eggs?
They're on an Easter egg hunt.
Jesus Christ. This is the most wholesome thing I've ever heard.
It's nuts. The children and their families had gathered together on Good Friday for an Easter egg hunt in a field in Capel in Surrey. But an intrusion at a building nearby brought a dramatic police helicopter chase right to them, Surrey police said. And then there's like a tweet, like a Twitter screenshot that is just a picture of a helicopter up in the clouds or whatever, and it just says, a quiet village egg hunt got interesting when the Red Hill Police helicopter came over for an hour hunting burglars.
Hunting burglars.
With a chopper buzzing overhead and two men suddenly racing across the field, those in the group of children quickly realized they were witnessing a police pursuit.
Whoa.
The kids dropped to the ground and lay out in an arrow-shaped formation to point the authorities in the direction that these two dudes had run.
Oh my God, I love that so much. The arrow is way uneven, too.
Oh my God, hold on. I have to put a screenshot.
There's one extra person on that side of the arrow.
Yes, there is.
Go to the back.
I have to put this screenshot of another tweet from it must have been someone who was either there or reporting on this event. Easter egg hunt with a difference, with NPAS Red Hill in pursuit overhead. 2 burglars caught and lots of happy kids. And the children are just like at a picnic, like a camping barbecue thing, like smiling. Some of them are like barely look 4. They just look so proud of themselves. It's so funny.
Oh my God, I would be.
Oh, I know. You would remember this for the rest of your life. Quote, the children quickly formed an arrow on the ground in the middle of a plowed field to guide the helicopter in the direction of the fleeing pair, a statement from police said. The helicopter crew relayed this information to officers on the ground, and a short time later, the 2 men were arrested.
Oh my God.
West tweets, great fun for all the kids and 2 felons apprehended. Sergeant Paul...
That was better than an Easter egg.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
Sergeant Paul Soshin with the National Police Air Service likened it to an Enid Blyton adventure, referencing the British author of the popular children's detective novel series Secret 7.
Oh my God, dork.
Quote, I'm sure the last thing the group of daring Capel students expected when they set out on Friday afternoon was to abandon their egg hunt to assist us in a police search, but the initiative they demonstrated proved to be invaluable. Oh. 2 men, ages 28 and 27, were arrested on suspicion of burglary in connection with the incident. Both were released on bail until May 13th while the investigation continues. So I don't have a follow-up on who the guys were, but who cares? I love those kids. That was hilarious.
All those kids just face down in a field.
Bunch of
arms
little narcs.
Outstretched. Totally. But oh my God. Can you imagine? I feel a surge of pride on behalf of these kids' parents. I'm proud of these kids. Mm-hmm. Your kid comes home from an Easter egg hunt. Mom, guess what?
Yeah.
We laid down in a human arrow and caught 2 felons.
It's like, what?
Sure, honey.
That's why daycare is so expensive. You're doing such amazing things. Okay, this next one just cracked me up and reminded me of like millennials teaching boomers how to use their devices. And also just like, do not separate a child from their iPad. Like they will go to the ends of the earth to get it back. And the picture of this kid is so fucking cute. He's so happy. There's a picture of him. He's being interviewed at his home about what happened, and he's just beaming that he like cracked this case. So this is from fox8live.com. This is from back in 2012. 8-year-old solves multi-state crime ring.
Oh my God.
This is out of Coffee County, Tennessee. Police credit a tech-savvy Tennessee boy with busting up a multi-state theft ring. Investigators say the 8-year-old was robbed of his belongings and, in a way, took matters into his own hands. Last week, someone broke into Landon Crabtree's home. They made off with his PlayStation, most of his games, and 2 iPads. Insurance money soon allowed his family to replace the stolen merchandise. While installing his favorite games on the new iPad, Landon remembered one of his favorite apps, Find My iPhone.
Oh my God. What idiot didn't turn that off?
Quote, he was upstairs. He came down and he's like, Dad, I know where our iPad is. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Said Landon's dad, Richard Crabtree, Dick Crabtree.
Yeah, God.
Quite a name. Landon says the app tracks down your iTunes account. Like whoever takes it over or wherever it is, it can just track down that device. Because this was the 2012 version. So not the Find My iPhone the way that we know it now, but still.
Okay.
The app, because we used to sign in not with an Apple ID, but you would like buy everything on your iPhone with your iTunes account back in the day.
Yeah.
The app located the iPads in a room at a nearby hotel. His family called police and within 40 minutes had John Doherty in custody.
Oh my God.
Landon's father said the hotel room was filled with dozens and dozens of stolen items. Investigators believe Doherty's connected to several break-ins in other states. He's been charged with aggravated burglary and fugitive from justice because this 8-year-old was like, duh, I'm going to use Find My iPhone. And to your point of like, what idiot forgot to turn that off? It was 2012. I just don't think it was that. It was like a separate app. It wasn't like built into your phone the way that Find My is now. I just don't think it was really thought of as much as this smart young kid was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to use this.
I was explaining to someone my age how Apple AirTags work.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I guess this isn't common knowledge across. And if this was, however, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like an early iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Landon's parents say they're proud of their son and says he hopes to be an FBI agent when he grows up. Okay,
you sure can be.
I don't know, buddy. I want to set your expectations low. Using Find My iPhone one time and getting really lucky on uncovering a multi-state crime ring like theft. That you might have peaked early, boss. Also, ACAB. Don't become a cop.
Become a private investigator.
Well, now he's old enough to have become pretty much anything. If he was 8 in 2012, then he's in his 20s now. He's 20, what? 2020?
What's
he's
his
20.
name again?
Landon Crabtree.
Oh, Landon, if you're out there,
get at us.
We have some questions.
I want to know if you're a cop now.
Oh my God.
Find us Landon Crabtree. But if he sucks, don't put us in touch. Okay.
Get me Landon Crabtree.
But vet him first.
Unless he sucks.
Yeah. Never trust a man. So I have 2 more for you that I picked because they come with drawings, which I fucking love. And like, you know how the leprechaun in Mobile, Alabama amateur sketch is like one of my favorite things on the internet? Yeah. Well, I now also love this amateur sketch. So this is out of Connecticut. This is from NBCConnecticut.com, and this came out in 2015. Stratford girl honored after stick figure sketch helps police nab suspect.
Oh my God.
The sketch is on the drive. It's incredible.
Oh my God, yes.
In a room full of police officers being honored in Stratford, Connecticut, Thursday night.
What?
We'll get to it.
That looks like our whole friend group in high school.
It totally does. One 11-year-old stood out from the crowd. Rebecca DiPietro may not wear a police uniform, but she was honored for some detective work after helping officers solve a string of burglaries on her street. It all started when her family got a knock at the door a few months ago from a Stratford police officer who wanted to know if they had seen anything or anyone suspicious. Quote, I was like, yeah, I can draw a picture of them, DiPietro said. It wasn't like the best picture. It was just a head and some legs. And I thought, oh, he's probably going to crumple it up and throw it out. However, police took the doodle seriously, superimposing the picture and matching it up with a picture of the suspect. They say it helped them catch the suspect, who has since confessed to 10 burglaries in the area, including the break-in at DiPietro's home.
Oh my God.
Quote, it was kind of like payback, like you did this and my daughter's drawing kind of resolved the issue, Paul DiPietro said. Police say the drawing not only helped them make an arrest, but also recover some of the items the suspect stole. Quote, for us to take that sketch and match it up, it was remarkable. Maybe she's part of our next generation of detectives. So you can see on the sketch that there are some identifying, like markings on his face, his like long kind of scraggly hair, his like kind of long lean
patchy
body.
beard.
Yeah, I think they already had somebody that they were pretty confident had done it, and then they get this sketch and they're like,
it's
wait,
this piece of shit.
It's actually spot on. Look at that nasty beard. And
Put
then
it in
they
your
were
burn
like,
book, girl.
yeah, and then I just love that they kept the sketch and they were like, yes, we're submitting this to evidence. This is it. You locked him up. So I love that for her.
He goes to trial.
She has to testify. No, I would hate that. Okay, one more that includes a sketch, but this one is genuinely very impressive, the sketch. You can see it on the drive, the map.
Oh.
It's super cute. Okay, this is out of Germany. This is from QZQuartz.com. 2022 is when this was written. An adorable map drawn by two kids helped German police solve a hit and run.
Oh.
Yeah. Now you can really see it coming together. They were meticulous. The arrows, come on.
All the houses, the squares, they have like city blocks.
This says, forget a detective's pipe and magnifying glass. Felt tip pens, a sheet of paper, and keen observational skills were all two children in Germany needed to help police solve a hit and run. The 8 and 9-year-old boys drew an elaborate map for police of the mid-January incident, which they witnessed on their way home from school in the small town of Ohr-Eckenschwick in Germany's northwest. The map's adorable details include the two children represented as stick figures labeled cousin and Ich.
Oh.
So like me and my cousin.
Cute.
The driver's position, the parked car she allegedly rammed into, and naturally a nearby garden with some colorful flowers.
Oh my God. This is a multicolored.
Yep.
This is nice.
It's amazing. They also showed police using some energetically drawn arrows how the driver turned around after hitting the car, drove back, and stopped to assess the damage she had caused before driving off. Quote, through the exact description of the children, the driver could be quickly identified.
Wow.
If I'm being honest, the sketches of my colleagues often don't look better. A police spokesperson told Bild. Yeah, I just thought that this was really cute and also like a really impressive map. They're 8.
Yeah,
and 9.
That is very impressive.
They clearly used like a ruler and they mapped out the street and everything. Like it's really good.
God, I wish I could solve a crime when I was 8.
I wish I could draw a map. I'm obsessed with how each car is just like, and it's all bird's eye view, but for the tires on the car, they're just sticking out of the four corners, like perfectly flat. It reminds me of stuff I make in Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Which, yes, John, I am playing. I have his borrowed copy right now, and I am really enjoying it. Thank you very much. All right?
Glad.
But yeah, those were all of my little articles for today. I just wanted to keep it cute and show these fun drawings.
I'm really fucking glad you did. This was the perfect antidote to whatever the fuck I was talking about.
Kids solving crimes. Kids solving crimes.
Kids can be useful.
Yeah.
In rare circumstances.
So special thanks to us and also Lynn for sending in that suggestion because you piqued Lucy's interest big time and now here we are. So I hope you got your jollies.
Yeah, I hope you got your funding too.
Yeah. More importantly, I hope you got your funding.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Come join us on Uncorked. We have a lot of fun over there.
Yes, please.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Danielle Sylvan. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Our production manager is Andrea Gardner. For photos, sources, and other resources, head to wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Wine and Crime Pod. If you'd like to show your support and get access to all sorts of wine-fueled bonus content, check out our premium channel at wineandcrimepodcast.com/uncorked. Cheers!